So, good day, everyone, and welcome to the One-to-One Temps webinar series. In this session, Susan Wilkin will be talking about technology and your client. And I'm Liz Parker, I'm the CEO of One-to-One Temps. Susan is my right-hand person in One-to-One Temps. We've worked together for many years, and basically I couldn't run my business without her. So I'm really happy to be able to introduce Susan today. She's going to talk a little bit about her background and how she's ended up where she is today. I also want to highlight that she was the winner of the SASE Award in 2014, which is awarded by Digital Divas through AAVIP. Susan has given a lot of time and skills and efforts to AAVIP to help it get to the stage where it is today, and it was really an overdue award. So I just want to congratulate her again for that, and I'll hand this over to you, Susan. Thanks for agreeing to do this presentation today.
Thanks, Liz. I love it when you introduce me. I sound so great. I thought I would tell you a bit about my story, less of the boring stuff. So I actually started my business Adminaholics when my boys were quite young. They were 7, almost 3, and 18 months. At the time, I'd been out of work raising the boys for about 3 years. And who else is sort of in that atmosphere at the moment? And at the time, the GFC had just hit. We lost a lot of money, had a couple of investment loans, other loans. So we're quite struggling, as most families do, especially, with one income coming in, etc. I was quite lucky at the time that my husband was earning reasonably well. But I was at the point that I was urgently needing to get some work. And of course, with 2 small children, childcare fees are astronomical. Anybody else in that boat? So for me, I had to start thinking strategically and that's when I decided to start my own business. So for the first 6 months, I struggled trying to build the business by myself. I spent quite a bit of money that essentially we didn't have on the wrong sort of marketing, making all the mistakes as most new businesses do. I was then introduced to Liz Parker at One-to-One Temps, and it was then that Liz helped me put together the best steps and I really started to grow my business. So during the early stages of my business, I didn't have too much money to outsource. And that was when I developed a love for technology and used the quieter times to upskill myself so that I could create more services for my clients. I'm now the biggest nerd ever and quite proud of it. My children like to remind me on how big a nerd I really am these days. So now 7 years later, and I can't believe it's been 7 years, all my boys are at school. I pretty much work full-time in my business. My business has grown exponentially, and it's something that I'm proud of and I love and still love to this day. And I'm actually looking at building a new branch to my business very shortly, which I'm pretty excited about as well. So enough about me. I just wanted to tell you how I developed my love for technology and the way that I got into things and how I really learned to upskill myself while it was that little bit quieter. So enough about that, the boring stuff. Let's get into this webinar. I hope you've all got a pen and paper with you, because my webinars are fast-paced and I love them being fast-paced, and this is basically the way that I learn as well. So during the webinar, I'm going to show you where you can find software that you can use in your everyday business. Now, I love software and technology, but of course, only when it works. And I swear I say that at least 100 times a week. Next one. Okay, so with some of the software that I'll be showing you today, I may not provide links to them. Most will be a simple Google search. Now, I love Google. I don't know how I ever worked without it. A couple of basic tricks with Google searching. Sometimes we don't find what we're looking for through though. So sometimes we need to change the parameters of the search. So for example, I need help on MailChimp. You might need to change the word help to support, rather than, so that you get a better result for that. The other thing that I want to mention was that 99% of the software have a help section available or YouTube videos. That's where I've upskilled myself. That's where I found the information and the tips just by searching through them and spending that time. When I first started and had that time available, that was where I learned everything. And if I got too stuck, that's when I got help. Sorry, Liz, it was usually you that I asked. It was a great way, as I mentioned, it's a great way to upskill yourself, especially, if you're not too busy just yet. And it was a way that it enabled me to build myself a niche. Okie dokie. So, who here still uses Internet Explorer? Come on, be honest. I know there's a few. Look, my hubby does. It's used predominantly in corporate industry, and personally, I find Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox the two best browsers to use. The reason that I like these two the best, they're more stable, they're less buggy with faults. I normally switch between the two depending on what I am working on. So, and I have having two browsers is a great idea. So, for example, you can have two accounts of the same application. So, who here does, Facebook or LinkedIn work for a client or something like that, where you need to, either log out and log back in again or something? Yeah. So, you can have yours open on Google Chrome and somebody else's open on Firefox. So instead of actually logging out of them, you can have those two open. That's where it works really well. Okie dokie. So as a virtual business owner, one of the biggest things that I had to learn was taking care of my machine. Otherwise, I used to have to spend a fortune getting the computer guy in who's done that. So I thought that I'd pass through a few simple tips that you can keep your maintenance up as well. So to keep your computer running smoothly, it's important to keep files and folders organized. Unorganized folders and files make it more difficult to find the files that you need. Also, by deleting any unwanted files, you will create space in your hard drive. Too many files on your hard drive will make your computer slower and more difficult to use. Here are a few things that you can also do to improve your computer's performance. So you can delete files. Any unwanted files, delete them manually. To do this, simply drag them into your recycle bin or your trash, and then make sure you empty your recycle bin regularly, or move them to an external hard drive or online drive to ensure that they don't clutter up your hard drive and reduce the space. Disk defragmenter. Windows includes a disk defragmenter program in your control panel. It scans the files on your hard drive and rearranges them so it can read them faster. If your computer is running slowly, run disk defragmenter and it can really help speed it up. Also, disk cleanup. That's available in your control panel as well. It scans your computer for temporary files and other files that can be deleted, and you can delete the files to free up space in your hard drive. So make sure you check for updates. So you can go to your Action Center. Most updates pop up on there, or you can check for updates in your settings. As I mentioned before, empty your recycle bin regularly and clean up your desktop. Try not to, who here saves stuff on their desktop instead of actually in your files all the time? I'm sure there's a couple. And so don't save stuff on your desktop. By saving on your desktop, it also may not back up to your backup as well, and we'll go through backups in a second as well. It's important to run these regularly to maintain your computer. I'd recommend, every month. Some maintenance is completed automatically, but it's good to get into the habit of completing or checking this regularly as well. Okay, who has a good virus software program? And who pays for it? That's the other question. A lot sort of start off on a free one. Recommend. Oh, great! Thanks, Tony. AVG PC TuneUp and AVG Driver Update is really good. Okay, good to know. Thank you. Excellent. I love that you guys pay for your virus protection. Malware protection is very important to protect against. Malware is any type of software that is designed to gain unauthorized access to your personal information or damage your computer. It includes viruses, worms, Trojan horses, spyware, and other software, and is normally distributed over the internet with other software. The best way to guard against it is to purchase a good virus protection software. Antivirus software helps to prevent malware from being installed on your machine, and it can also remove malware from your computer. There are many virus protection options out on the market, and it's all quite confusing. It is also recommended to get the purchased one, the virus software, rather than the free version, to ensure that you're fully protected, and make sure that your virus protection is kept up to date as well. As new malware is being created all the time. Most antivirus software updates automatically, but you will need to make sure that it is enabled behind the scenes. The other trick is to stay smart when you're browsing the internet or using email. If a website or email attachment looks suspicious, trust your instincts. With new malware being created, your antivirus program may not catch everything, so it's best to avoid downloading anything that might contain malware. Okay, let's get into a bit more fun stuff. So who here does a backup of their computer? Quite a few years ago, we had an almost new laptop, and I transferred everything across to it. It was a brand new laptop at the time. All my photos, documents, everything. And when the laptop was 18 months old, the hard drive went and we lost everything. Nothing was recoverable, unfortunately, and I lost my oldest son's second and third birthday photos and everything in between. All of our renovation photos. It was around the time that we left Perth to move to Queensland. There was a massive trip around southern WA as well, and quite a few, our leaving end of party, etc. And of course, at the time, I was heavily pregnant with number 2. And many disasters like that are seriously never good when you're pregnant, but they're never good anyway, but when you're pregnant, they're even worse, as you can imagine. So guess what? I'm a bit of a backup queen these days, and I do a bit of backup overkill. So not only do I automatically back up online, so everything sort of goes to our OneDrive, a lot goes to Dropbox. I've got a lot that goes to Carbonite. I actually also back up to an external hard drive as well. Yes, I know it's probably a bit of overkill, but once bitten, twice shy. If you're looking at an online backup system, if you're looking at a online backup system, it can take a few days to do an initial backup of your whole computer, especially if you've got as many files as what I do. So you will need to leave your computer on for that time. Then it only backs up the new files or folders, files that get changed or updated as you go. So all of these options are inexpensive and worth the business expense for peace of mind. Okie dokie. Password protection. Okay, by now you probably have about 200 different passwords or combinations of passwords for your different software, banking, computers, phones, etc. And it's hard to keep track of them all. A few things that you can use to maintain your passwords. Look, I'm a bit old school. I love my notebook. I've still got my notebook. We lose it in the house quite regularly, but I still love it. We find it eventually. An Excel file with password protected, or a Word file with password protected. KeePass's software, LastPass and 1Password are all pretty good as well. Now, do your research and work out what's going to be best for you and your passwords. As I mentioned, I'm a bit old school. You should see my Daggy notebook that I've got. Next one, file sharing. And I'm going to go through a few of the basics with this in a moment. And we're so lucky now that we have so many options that we can use for file sharing, for also saving our files online so that we can use them across multiple machines or share them with the clients. I'm a bit of a fan of SugarSync. It works very similar to Dropbox, and your files are on your hard drive as well as being in the cloud, and you can sync it across your machines as well as sharing certain folders or files with clients. I'm quite liking OneDrive. If you purchase Office 365, which includes your Word, Excel, PowerPoint, your Outlook, it's $12 a month, and you'll receive 1 terabyte of online data as well. Now, that's equivalent to most hard drives these days, and it's a huge amount of storage power, and you can also sync this across your machines as well. The only problem is that they haven't allowed for link sharing yet, but I don't think that's too far away. Now, Dropbox. Who here uses Dropbox? I figured most of you would. I'm a bit of a fan of Dropbox. If you don't have Dropbox, use that link. That'll actually, you start off with 2 megabytes. That link will give you an extra 500 megabytes, and it's because it's my affiliate link as well. It also gives me extra space as well. So you can actually get up to an extra 38 megabytes of space by sharing your actual link as well. So if you want it, go ahead and download it. It's really quite simple to download and use. Now, PC Magazine said that the service has 500 million users and 150,000 businesses using Dropbox Business. That's a huge amount of usage on their system. You're probably going to need to pay for, okay, so a couple of things. You can actually sync your iTunes. I didn't actually know this, but you can actually sync all of your iTunes. You might need the Pro account for it, but you can sync it between several computers at home, at work, on your tablet, your phone, etc. This means that your playlists, music, they're always available wherever you are. You'll need to move your library into the Dropbox folder and then point iTunes towards its new location to do this. I'm a big one for accidentally deleting things. Who else does that? Dropbox saves all of your files for 30 days, so you can actually go in and recover the copy that you've deleted, or you can actually recover previous versions as well. Now, did you know that you can add Dropbox to your phone and enable it to automatically back up your photos to a file on Dropbox? I have my phone set so that as soon as I walk back in my house and we hit Wi-Fi, it automatically starts downloading my photos to Wi-Fi. Sharing large files, and I'm actually going to share my screen in a moment and show you how to do this. Who remembers using Send This File or something like that many years ago, where you had to log on to the website, upload the folder, upload the file, add it in, yeah, didn't we all? Add it in, then send an email with that link once you've, it was such a nightmare. These days, you can actually just pop it in Dropbox if you've got the space, copy the link, and off it goes. And I'm actually going to share my screen and show you guys how easy that is as well. It's a really great tool to use with your clients too. So, okie dokie. Bear with me for a minute while the screen sharing starts. So you guys, can you guys all see my Skype? Sorry, you can all see my Dropbox account there? Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is basically you can do this from here, or you can also do this from your files as well. So this is my actual, I'll just bring my actual Dropbox. As you can see, my Dropbox is actually mirrored. You can see my Dropbox is actually mirrored here to here. What I'm actually going to do is just go down and show you. The other thing that I like, which you can't see on this screen, is actually Dropbox actually sits, and I'll show you that in a moment. Dropbox actually sits down the bottom in your screen, like next to your sound, etc. So you can actually see which files have been recently uploaded as well. Now, this is a folder. Okay, and you can actually share a folder with the client. So if you want to share a folder, you can actually go into share. It'll actually bring it up, and then you can actually share. So you can allow managers, editors to manage members of this folder, or you can untick that. You can actually add their name or email that folder through, and include a message with it and invite them to use that folder. You can also do it from the online version as well. The other thing, if you don't want to share the folder, but you actually want to share the file, and as you can see, this is a copy of my presentation, you can actually copy the Dropbox link, and this is how simple it is. That's now copied. It's literally copy the Dropbox link. That's literally it, and then I can go and paste that somewhere. So I'll actually show you that. So I can actually paste that link in an email and send to somebody, or actually hyperlink that to somebody. Now, the other couple of things that's just a couple of the basics that I want to show you on Dropbox and what I really like to use it for as well. The other thing is that, say for example, if somebody jumps in the file while you're actually in there. So say for example, I was sharing this folder with somebody. We were both in the same Excel file. We both updated at the same time. It would actually save 2 versions of that. So then you could actually see which version that you actually preferred from that, and then delete the other one. That's probably the only idiosyncrasy with it, is that it won't actually tell you, oh, somebody's actually in there. It'll actually just save 2 versions of that for you. Okie dokie, a couple more little tricks that I want to show you guys. Now, I'm actually in Chrome here at the moment. Chrome's one of my favorite ones that I like to use. I've actually pinned some tabs here. So I've actually pinned my calendar. I've actually pinned something else for a client there, which I won't show you. But pinning tabs is a really good way. So that way, when I actually close down Chrome and bring it back up again, those pinned tabs actually stay there and I actually don't lose them. I actually think that's a really cool trick. Now, who knows this trick? This is actually open up a new browser tab. So you can see that you can open up a new browser tab here. The other thing that I actually really like to do as well, who knows the control click option? So when you hold the control key and you actually want to open something in a different screen, so you actually want to keep the screen here, you can actually hold the control key down and click, and it'll bring it up in a new tab for you. I actually really like this trick. So for example, this is my website, by the way. So for example, if I wanted to go into my All About Webinars or something like that, or into my products, I could actually control and click, but I've still got access to that home page, so I don't lose where I was previously on. The other thing that I get asked quite often is about hyperlinks. So I just thought I would show you that quickly as well. I told you it was going to be a full technology day today, so I hope you guys are keeping up. Sorry, to actually, have you, hyperlinks are something, so say for example, I wanted to do a soft sell for my website. So for example, did you know that we have a Skype for business download? Now, what I might do is I might want to do a soft sell for that. So to do that, and this works in the hyperlinking actually works in Outlook. It works through a range of things. You can do it on your website. I've got hyperlinks everywhere through my website, etc. On Word, you just right click. Oh gosh, sorry, my computer's just, oh, there you go. I can actually arrow down. Select hyperlink. Yeah. And that's when you post in. So I actually posted it. I actually had that. Oh, I did copy that link. It's not copied over. So Control C to, I wanted the products one. Control C to copy that link, and Control V to paste that link in there. Now, if I was actually to click on that, that would actually take me straight to that page now. So I just wanted to show you that little trick in regards to setting a hyperlink, and it's a really good way to do a soft sell on some of your services too. Okay, so the next thing that I was going to go into was Skype for Business. I've actually got a second Skype account here. Rachel, I've seen that you're actually on my you're actually on Skype at the moment, possibly, or somebody is on Skype. Would you be able to send me a connection to Adminaholics 2? That's actually my account name. Now, Rachel, I'm actually going to send you a, I didn't want to use my personal Skype that I always use all the time, but I just want to show you a couple of tricks for okay, so to actually add a new connection. Now I'm actually set up so people can't call me unless I am actually online and unless they're actually in contact with me as well. So that's one of the main things that I have got with my privacy settings, because I don't want all the randoms calling me basically. And that's a really good sort of protection thing to do. So what I'm going to do is I've actually got Alison on here. I want to just show you how to create a new group conversation, which I really like. I'm actually just going to add Alison in here. If it'll allow me to. And I'm going to add Liz in here as well. Now, this is a really good way to actually group together a small group conversation. I actually really like it. We've actually got a 1-to-1 temps Skype group as well, and that's a really great way to actually, get together and converse that way. This is a really good way to actually arrange meetings. I actually work with a couple of clients this way in a small team. We actually post all of our board messages on here, etc. And we find that's a really good way to keep in touch with each other and to see what everyone else is up to as well. This is actually the desktop version of Skype. There's an app version of Skype, and then there's a desktop version of Skype. I use the desktop version. There's more features in the desktop version. If you haven't got the desktop version, you can actually download that from Skype, and I will actually provide some links in that for you later as well. The other thing that I like about this Skype, you can actually buy Skype credits. So who here does calling for clients? Making phone calls for clients, etc. Yep, excellent. Skype's a really good way. To actually use. You can actually create Skype credit. You can actually purchase your Skype credit. I won't actually go into there now. This is something that I'm doing in my mini course. You can actually buy Skype credit and you can actually call and dial numbers from there. And to dial numbers from Skype, all you need to do is click on here. So here in this section, when you're calling people, you're actually calling your contacts. You're actually calling your contacts. When you're actually calling a phone number, so say for example, I want to call overseas, or I've got a subscription. You can also get subscriptions for local numbers as well. I want to call locally. I can actually do this through here. And the best thing is I get to use my headset. There are a few options. You can actually set yourself up a Skype number, and you can also set yourself up a voicemail in here as well. It's a really cool trick and a really cool tool to use for business, and I use it regularly. The other thing that I like to do is list it's probably not up to date at the moment, but I like to list my hours of availability. I'm in and out of the office, so for example, I had to let my clients know today that I wasn't available between 10 and 12 because I was doing this webinar. I use Skype for that. Tomorrow my boys have got a cross country, so I'm actually going to attend that. I use Skype and just save my hours of availability on there, and my clients know when I'm actually contactable as well. Find that quite handy. Does anybody else have any questions about Skype at all? Definitely much cheaper. I completely agree with that, Tony. It's heaps cheaper to use. Great. Okay, so I'm just going to hop back into my presentation. Bear with me while I just bring this back up again. Oh, the photo. Okay, that's a good idea. You can actually change your photo. This is actually, I'll just go back in here again. To actually change your photo, because this is a dummy account, I actually haven't changed this. If you actually click on your name up the top here, you can actually just see, you can see here straight up that you can actually change your photo, and then it actually brings up this. Oh gosh, I hope that doesn't show. It's going to come up. It's going to come up with my video, or you can actually choose a previous video. Oh, far out. I hope that doesn't come up with my video. Or you can actually choose an image, or you can actually browse. So you can actually go into your images and you can actually browse in there and grab a photo of yourself, or you can actually take a screenshot of yourself from your actual camera on your computer. Oh, it just showed me up. That's quite funny. I was hoping it wouldn't. It was still bouncing around on the screen there, so I was hoping it wouldn't, but it did. Of course it did. You know, it's one of those days, right? Okay, let me just bring my slides back up again. Okie dokie. There we go. Okie dokie. So we just went through Skype. Oops. Okay, the other one that I quite like, and you can actually, the other thing I was going to say is Skype on your mobile. Use Skype. I downloaded Skype on my mobile, and because it's all through I only use it through my Wi-Fi, but it's a great way that I can do things on the run as well if I need to keep in touch with clients, things like that. Skype on your mobile is fantastic. The other one that you can use for making international calls, or if you've got a client overseas, quite well, Viber works quite well as well. I haven't quite worked it out for desktop, but on your mobile, it works quite well as well. Okie dokie, next one. Have you ever had to log into your client's computer? Okay, so working virtually has some challenges, and sometimes clients prefer for you to log in and complete work on their computer. A couple of ways to do this is using TeamViewer and LogMeIn. They're both quite well. I actually don't use them quite regularly because my clients are pretty systematic now. And of course, I had to touch on the social media platforms. So the main ones are Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. If you're not a member, then it's time to join them. These are all very powerful for building networks and your online contacts. I get most of my leads now through LinkedIn and Twitter. Also, don't forget about Instagram and Pinterest. These are both great for photos. These are also great ways to get your business advertised for free. Now, if you can't keep track of them all, Hootsuite is fantastic. And if you didn't see the webinar that Katrina did a couple of weeks ago on Hootsuite, make sure you go and view it. Hootsuite is fantastic. I'm not going to go through it now. There's also a couple of other ones, Sendable, and of course Meet Edgar are some of the newbies on the block, and they're pretty great. I've been actually using Meet Edgar with a client, and it's actually one that you can program stuff in. It just keeps rotating it around so you don't even have to think about it. It's all in there and it's all programmed and it's all done. It's fantastic. Okie dokie. So who needs some photos for their websites? Write some of these down. My favorite by all means is Fotolia. I love it. The photos normally work out to be about $1.35 each. Pixabay, it's all free, but you need to check your rights on them. So ensure that, you know, they're for commercial use, etc. And double check their Creative Commons on there as well. These are all some of the great ones that you can use, download, found, etc. There's plenty more out there. It's just a bit of a Google search. Okie dokie. Video. Who here does a bit of video? If you have a video that you'd like to host somewhere, you can upload them to accounts on the following sites. So YouTube is fantastic for link backs to your website and also for hosting videos. It has an option of sharing videos and also keeping videos unlisted. Now, I really like the unlisted trick as well, so that you can share links with somebody but not make them public on YouTube. Vimeo works the same way, but you can also purchase a pro account and keep your videos private, so they're great for courses and things like that, and only allow access to certain people or for membership sites. Vine allows you to create and upload short looping videos, and they're quite fun. The young kids love them, etc. Wistia is also a good one too. Thanks, Rachel. I'll definitely include that for next time. Now, one of my absolute favorites, I do a bit of video editing, of course, you know, doing webinars as well. And of course, screenshots. I do a lot of screenshots. Snagit is by far my favorite thing to use. I screenshot everything. And of course, you can actually screenshot snippets of things. Snagit is fantastic. There's a 30-day free trial for it. I think it only costs $30 to buy upon memory, and it was so worth it because I do a lot of it. Camtasia I love. I actually do a lot of screencasting, etc. for videos, training clients, doing up training products, etc. Camtasia I use all the time. Screencast-O-Matic is one that Liz has recently put me onto. It's actually a freebie. And you can actually do videos, etc., of your screen, so you can train your clients, etc. Rachel, yes, Firefox does have an extension whereby you can screenshot an entire page. What I like about Snagit is that you can screenshot a section of the page. That's what I love about it. So I can grab small bits for it. Yep, great. Oh, excellent, Liz. It's Screencast-O-Matic is $15 per year, and you can also edit videos with it as well. So it's a great one for doing courses. Okie dokie. So who needs some articles to share on your social media platforms, or who's struggling to find content for those social media platforms? Great. All right, go to my website, because seriously, I've got loads of content that you can share, and I'm happy for you to share those links. Thank you. Just thought I'd do that plug, sorry. So Sway is a platform that drops interesting content into a dashboard where you can scan or read the most interesting articles. The best feature, besides the articles, they put it into an easy to read, plus that you can share them straight onto your social media platforms as well. Tumblr, another great article site. Feedly, I use quite often. LinkedIn Plus is fantastic, and also Tribe is pretty cool as well. Go and check them out. They're awesome, and it'll give you loads of content. Who here is still time tracking? Who's tracking your hours? Julie, we need to move you on to packages. Yep, you too, Sandra. Love it. Excellent. So instead of using an Excel spreadsheet and guessing your hours, there are heaps of online tools available that you can track your hours down to the second with a stop and start timers. Here are a few for you to have a look at. Some give reports, Excel, export to Excel spreadsheet, have mobile apps that sync, and some also produce invoices as well, like FreshBooks. Even though you're charging for packages or should be charging for packages, it's a great way to keep track of your time to ensure that you're not going over or need to amend it for costing purposes. Now, my favorites out of these are HourGuard. I also forgot to add my hours in there as well. It's really good. And of course, I like FreshBooks as well. But honestly, I don't time track anymore, you guys. Okie dokie. So, ever see those? What am I up to? Ever see those wonderful word or quote pictures and wondered how you turn them simply into pictures? Here are a few picture generators: Quozio, PicMonkey, Quotes Cover, and Pinstamatic. The dark blue picture has been created using Quotes Cover and the grey picture using Quozio. You can also add your own background images to each as well. And of course, I'm going to go into Canva as well because Canva is fantastic and I absolutely love it. And that's where I create most of my stuff these days. But I thought these would be a few cool little tools that you can try out as well. Okie dokie. And of course, everyone loves those wonderful word or quote pictures. And these are the word cloud generators. And these are some of your word cloud generators that you can use as well. I can't remember which one I created this one on, but there's hundreds out there. Just give them a go and see what works for you. But they're a really cool way to get some free images on your website as well. And of course, as I mentioned before, Canva, I love it. These are some of the things that I've created on Canva. Yep, I've got the image quotes, etc. on there as well. Heaps of things you can do. I create my ebook banners, my ebook images, Facebook pages, everything for social media I sort of create on Canva these days. And by the way, as you can tell, I'm definitely not a graphic designer. Okay, project management software. Who's got some projects that you need to manage? At the moment, I'm using Asana. I absolutely love it. It's free. It's a great tool to use for tracking. You can sort of send stuff out to your team as well. It's fantastic for that, and it keeps me really accountable with what I need to do. Trello is fantastic and another free option as well that I've used, and I find that's really good too. And there's a couple of others in there, Zoho and Gantt Project as well. Okie dokie. Who's sending email newsletters? So these are a few that I've used and I love. MailChimp's one of the most popular. This is free for up to 2,000 members and a certain amount of newsletters per month. I really love ActiveCampaign. I've actually I'm just about to switch everything over to ActiveCampaign. They've got a fantastic autoresponder. It's still quite cost effective. It's not too much per month. And I find that it's really easy to use and you can actually really tailor your autoresponder as well. Okay, is anybody organising events here? If you're booking events or meetings and required to take a payment for it, here are some booking sites to assist with those payments. I've used TryBooking and Eventbrite quite often. I find Eventbrite's fees can be a little bit high, but TryBooking is really good pricing and it's an instant download of the money as well straight into your account. They're really good. It's really easy to set up and it's quite user friendly. Okie dokie. And of course, SurveyMonkey, the most popular survey tool around. I've actually, stay tuned because I've got a bit more for you. I have a survey set up on my website as a lead generation tool asking customers about my business. SurveyMonkey is free to set up for up to 10 questions, but if you upgrade, it has a lot more connectivity and features. A couple of others that I've found is Survey Nuts and Quick Surveys. And by the way, I probably only just added them in there because I like the name of them. I actually haven't played with them. SurveyMonkey is by far my favourite at the moment. I just wanted to give you some options of what else is available out there as well. A couple of others. Who's into mind mapping here? Who loves to get everything out of their head into paper, into a free flow? Here's a couple of mind mapping software. MindMap is open source and free to use online, and you can download it to your Google Drive. FreeMind is a download that you can use offline, so they're both available. Okay, link shortening. Who likes to shorten their links? I'm not a big fan of the shortened links, but I do use them for quite a few things as well. So bit.ly.com, tinyurl.com, our.ly are some of the most popular. If you're using a WordPress site, you can actually download PrettyLink, and what that actually does is it shortens your link. So it's got, say for example, www.adminaholics.com / and then it gives you a pretty link around it rather than a big exponential link. And that's a really cool little plugin for WordPress that I just found recently. Okay, and a couple more bits of software. Nearly done, you guys. I hope I've still got your attention. I Love PDF is a great website that splits and merges PDF. I use this one all the time. It is my dead set favorite quite regularly. Scanners, who quite often needs to scan something but they don't have a scanner? Never fear. I find that if it is a receipt or something not too important that needs uploading, I just take a digital photo of it with my camera. If it needs to scan something and it's not perfect, but I use Cam Scanner app on my phone and find this works quite well. Evernote, I love, and it is a great task management tool to also manage your time as well. Who here's still on Windows 8? I know I am on this computer. I haven't quite done that upgrade to Windows 10 yet. If you're still on Windows 8 and have that annoying and want that start menu back, 990 has many apps that you can download at just a few click of the buttons, and it's got that classic start menu on there as well. Most people have sort of moved over to Windows 10 these days, but I thought you might like to know that one. And a couple more. Here's some other places that you can actually find some software. I actually really like NCH software and CNET as well. They have some pretty great tools and software on there that you can sort of find. So whenever I sort of go somewhere, if I'm looking for a certain software, I might actually check out one of these two first. Okie dokie. So have I added value? Did you learn something today? Excellent. Who would like a copy of this presentation? Excellent. So what I would like you to do is I would love your feedback on my presentation today. If you could go and fill out the survey, leave your email in there, I will send you a copy of this presentation to you guys. Excellent. Who would like more? Okie dokie. We have a great offer for you. I have set up a Skype for Business guide. This guide is normally $27. I'm giving it to you today for just $7. You can sign up at that link there. This basically takes you through the startup, setting up Skype, as well as quite a few other features in there as well, which I've listed on the website there. But that's not all. As a bonus, if you purchase that today, you will receive our 7 Days to Improving Skype for Business mini e-course, which is being built next week. So I will actually include this for you with the guide. Now, would you like more? But wait, there's steak knives too. Great. Some of you may have this already, but this is Liz's technology toolkit. It's normally $85, and for you guys it's $9.95, and you can actually download this from here. The technology toolkit is fantastic, and it's got a lot of the tools and tips and stuff that we popped in here today as well, and here's the actual link for it too. Okay, well, that's it. That's me, guys. If you want to stay in contact, you can contact me on LinkedIn. That link is actually viable. Add me as a connection. Oh, yes, and Liz just mentioned the premium members actually get this technology toolkit for free as well. So there's another great avenue, another great option to sign up as a member, a premium member with 121 Temps. It's certainly the way that I grew my business. I'm still a member. Premium member, what is it, Liz? Nearly 7 years on now? And
yes.
All the time.
Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it, Susan?
It sure does. Sure does.
Thank you very much for taking the time this morning to create this great presentation and to do the webinar with everyone. I'm sure you'll all join me in thanking Susan for a great session. And look, I've had a sneak peek at that Skype guide, and it's worth every penny, and I've learned some things from it. So I really, if you haven't used Skype to the extent that you possibly can, then get your hands on that guide. It'd be fantastic. Thank you everyone for joining us today. The next session will be in a couple of weeks' time. I'll be doing a session on showing you how to get appointments using LinkedIn. In your emails today, everyone should get an invitation in regards to Virtual Leading Circles, which is a new exciting program that we started. We actually piloted last year, and the people that participated loved it so much that we've now did some tweaks to it, put some structure around it, and we're offering it to everyone on our network. So whether you're a premium member or not, you'll have an opportunity to participate in that program. It'll actually give you a really good basis for marketing, and if you struggle to get clients and build your reputation online, it'll be a great avenue to help you with that. Okay, thanks, Susan. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. And, if you've got any questions, I'm sure Susan will be happy to answer them. You can email them to me, or you can put them on our Skype, or, whatever. There's so many ways to contact us all. There's Susan's website there. Really worth looking at Susan's website. You get a lot of leads through her website. She does a lot of work through it. So it's worth actually having a look at her site and going there. Thanks a lot, Susan.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Bettina. Thanks for your positive feedback. Really appreciate it.